Good morning. Today I just really wanted to talk about how we can change the world, and there is literally only one way to change the world, and I'm going to get to it, and you're going to be surprised, or you might not be surprised, but hopefully this will give you a bit of perspective and clarity and freedom. So first of all, I want to let every supporter, George Floyd's family and friends, know that we are with them, we are standing with them, and our prayers go out to them as they go through this really difficult time, probably more difficult than most, because it's been so publicised, and everyone has their opinion on it. And what is really sad is that Black people are still trying to convince white people that they've been wronged. And from getting involved a little bit on Facebook and, you know, reading a lot of the back and forth combative racism, white privilege, it's just like an ongoing tennis match that you're never going to get someone else to see your point of view or your point of pain, because a person can only see from their own point of perception and their own perspective. And so I've come to the conclusion that this back and forth is pointless. It's a pointless exercise. And the only way to change this situation, the only way to change the world, is to change yourself. You can't change someone else's point of view. You can't change how someone feels about Black people. What you can do is change how you feel about you as a Black person. That is literally it. And if everyone took responsibility for their own pain, their own journey, that is when you would start to see change. Because at the moment, everyone is just arguing from a place of pain that is within them. That is what's giving them the drive to argue and to be combative and to be defensive. And yes, I get that there is a lot of anger and outrage as to what has gone on, but that anger and outrage is in you. So you need to deal with that root of anger and outrage that is in you. That is it. That's all you can do. You can't make someone understand 400, 500, 600 years of systemic racism. They're not going to be able to see it. They're not going to be able to see it. I've seen it. You can see it. Just go through the comments on your own timeline feed. No one is going to get it. They don't get it. They can't see your pain. And most of the time, people don't give a shit about your pain. They don't care. They only care about their own pain, their own suffering. Because that's what human beings are like. That's who they are. And whilst it's admirable for people to come together and to you know, protest, if you're coming together and you're protesting and you don't go home at night and analyse your own behaviour, then it's a pointless exercise. Because if you don't take responsibility for who you were before this situation happened, and the pain and suffering that you were carrying around before this situation happened, and the kind of person and characteristics that you had as a person before this situation happened, protesting and getting together is not going to make the difference that you think it's going to. The only difference that can be made is when an individual takes individual responsibility for their individual pain, their individual pain body, their individual past, and their individual futures. Because once you realise that you are a creator, you have to take a lot of responsibility. And, you know, black people as a whole can't take responsibility for the mentality of the black person as an individual. Black people as a whole can't take responsibility for the mentality of the black person as an individual. You can't be responsible for my inner thought process. If I sit and think I'm a piece of shit all day long, and I go into the world and act like a piece of shit all day long, how can you take responsibility for me and my mentality? And if you really, really want to think about it, everything that is mediaized to us, the films, the music, the poems, the books, the authors, the news reports, everything is conditioning black people to remain victims. So we remain in the victim mentality. And then law of attraction keeps showing us things that show us that we continue to be victims. And then we shout and holler, look, we're still victims. Look, we're still victims. Do you still want to be a victim? Is that what you want? You want to still be a victim? If you do not want to be a victim, then take responsibility for your own thought life. For your own thoughts. For your own words. What comes out of your mouth? When you speak, are you blaming? Are you shaming? Are you judging? Because if you are holding yourself in that place. No one else. No one else is holding you as a victim except your own mentality. Because if you want the world to prove to you that you are a victim, the world will prove to you that you are a victim. If you want the world to prove to you that you can rise above your circumstances, then you must choose to rise above your circumstances. That means rising above every Tom, Dickhead and Harry who wants to come on your feed and put you down and say all lives matter and white privilege doesn't exist. That is what you need to rise up against. That's what you need to rise up above. And knowing inside of you that that's not true. And that you're going to be better than that regardless of what people say. So, as for me and my house, we will serve. We will serve the community, we will serve our neighbours, and we will serve ourselves by taking individual responsibility for ourselves. And that is what I will be teaching my children, to take responsibility for your own damn mentality.